Hi, beautiful souls. This is Sachi, and today we're going to talk about something that almost no one explains properly. Why money and love get fused with guilt in women. Why receiving money, support, rest, care, pleasure, or even love can feel deeply uncomfortable, even unsafe. And why so many women just overgive, overadjust, overperform, and then feel exhausted, resentful, or even invisible. This is not just a mindset problem. This is not because you're just bad at receiving. This is a nervous system memory. So let's start here. Many women don't struggle to give, they struggle to receive. And the reason is very, very simple, because receiving once came with a cost. Many women, like they've had early experiences that taught the body things like if I receive, I owe it. Or if I accept help, I'll be controlled. Or let's just say if I take too much, someone will suffer. Or another belief in the body that says if I'm taken care of, I'll be shamed later. These have come from experiences. So the nervous system, what did it learn? Receiving equals danger. So not consciously, but somatically. So your body remembers moments where love came with guilt, money came with stress, let's just say care came with obligation, dependence led to humiliation or fear. So now, even when something good comes, a gift, a support, ease, abundance, your system just tightens, instead of just relaxing and receiving. And then people say, just receive, just open, just be in your feminine. But how is that woman supposed to receive? Because you're asking a threatened nervous system to behave like a safe one. So let's just talk about overgiving first. Overgiving is not generosity. It I call it the insurance. It is the insurance. Many women have learned that if I give more, I won't be abandoned. If I adjust, I'll be loved. If I carry the weight, I'll belong. And if I don't need anything, I won't be a burden. So love became transactional. It's like I earn my place by giving, and money became moralized. Like taking money equals being selfish, wanting more means being greedy, ease equals laziness, desire equals shame. So some women just learn to undercharge, overwork, minimize their needs, feel guilty when supported. This is just why many women feel safer giving than receiving. Because giving feels very familiar, and it keeps you in the higher position mentally, emotionally. And receiving just feels like you're getting exposed. You feel like we've been taught, your hand should always be like this and not like this, and we've like this, always give. So we have misunderstood that concept, and we feel anything like this is at a lower position. So you always want to do this and empty your cup. So this also has childhood roots. Let's go deeper. In many households, young girls learned things like don't ask, don't burden, don't want too much, be a good girl, be grateful for whatever you get. Maybe you saw your mother who silently just sacrificed every day, every moment, her needs, her pleasures, her wants. Even when you all went out for dinner, she didn't even place an order for what she wanted. She was like, yeah, whatever you all order, I'll eat the same. How many of you resonate with this? How many of you do this? Going out for like mothers who go out for family dinners. You all are just okay with whatever everybody else, the kids and the husband ordered or your in-laws order. And you just eat. Where is your desire? Where is your need? Think about it. Or maybe you just saw money associated with stress or fights. Maybe you as a child you wanted something and you asked your parents and they said oh, this month we don't have the money for it, or you saw your dad struggle to get you that thing, and then you were like, oh my god, money is associated with stress. And then maybe because you placed a need, and then before you could go to bed, you heard your parents quarrel, and you maybe you just internalized they're having a fight because of me, because I wanted that need, or maybe they were having financial constraints. But you started building that up in your subconscious. And maybe as a child, love was withheld when needs were expressed. Maybe someone is being nice to you, a parent, or everything was going like all good. You're sitting in the living room, sipping on some tea, and then you just say, um, I feel like traveling next month. And then suddenly the room goes quiet, and you're like, what did I just ask for? Maybe everyone deep inside wanted the same thing. Maybe they had the same desires, but maybe there were financial constraints. Maybe your dad was calculating the expenses in his mind. Others were, calculating their calendars. So you felt that withdrawal as if, your love was being withheld when you expressed your needs. And also, maybe as a child, you saw you were praised only when you performed or you adjusted. When you adjusted, they might have just said, oh, good girl. When you didn't ask for an extra dress for a festival, they'd be like, oh, good girl, adjusting. Or when you got the first rank in school, when you won an award, then they praised you. It didn't come on a everyday basis, I would say, that, oh, whatever you do or don't do, you're a great child. So as a child, what did you learn? The child learned, I'm loved when I make things easier for others in all of this, right? That belief doesn't disappear with age, my dear. It becomes, staying in underpaid roles, staying in emotionally unequal relationships, feeling guilty for rest, apologizing for needs. This is not weakness, this is conditioning. Also, now the layer that nobody talks about enough, the ancestral memory. For generations, women survived by enduring, adjusting, marrying for safety, suppressing their desires, depending economically. So, for many lineages, women who wanted more were punished. Women who took space were shamed. And finally, women who chose themselves were labeled selfish. So your body, your DNA might be holding on to a very old message. If I take, someone else will suffer. If I receive, I am unsafe. This is exactly why money and love get fused with guilt. Because survival once dependent on self-erasure. So here's the most important thing I want you to hear, you're not bad at receiving. You were never bad at receiving. Your body learned to stay alive. And healing does not begin by forcing yourself to receive. It begins by creating safety. Safety looks like receiving in small regulated doses, noticing when guilt arises without shaming it, letting your body soften slowly, allowing support without rushing to repay. Yeah. Receiving, is not a moral failure, it is a biological process. And when a woman feels safe receiving, money no longer feels dirty, love no longer feels heavy, and abundance, my dear, no longer feels dangerous. So if this resonated with you, let it land gently, You don't need to fix yourself. Your body is very wise. Your nervous system is protective. And safety is not force, it's the doorway to abundance. All right, then, until next time, this is Suchi signing off, and I'll see you in the next year. Yeah? Happy New Year, guys. Bye bye.